The Third Testament, Section 1, The Second Coming of Christ and the Third Time of Revelation. Chapter 8, The New Communities of Christ, Disciples, Apostles and Messengers of God. Light and Shadow in the Churches of Revelation. 1. If I had given my word in all nations, the majority would have rejected it, because vanity, materialism, and the false greatness of men would not have accepted teaching that speaks of spiritualization, humility, and brotherhood. The world is not yet prepared to comprehend love, which is why not all would have been receptive to my presence in this form. 2. Just as Christ at that time chose a rocky cave to be born as man, so today I discovered this corner of the earth which was ready to hear me and which bears a resemblance to the grotto and the manger which received the Son of God on that blessed night. 124, 13-14. 3. The example of this simple people here, who go their way without clergymen to guide them and who offer worship to me without ceremonies and symbols, should be a call to awaken those who are still sleeping in their centuries-old night, and should be an incentive for the renewal and purification of many of my children. 94, 39. 4. Under the shadow of my teaching no thrones shall be established from which glorified men can dominate the spirits of their fellow men. No one will be crowned nor covered with a purple robe in an effort to take the place of the Lord, nor will confessors appear who judge, forgive, condemn, or judge the deeds of men. I alone am able to judge a spirit from a just and perfect judgment seat. 5. I can send men to correct, teach, and guide, but I will send no one to judge and punish. I have sent men who have been shepherds of men, but not masters or fathers. The only Father according to the Spirit is I. 243, 13-14. 6. In that time I will raise up a people that will truly obey my law, that will love the truth and active charity. This people will be like a mirror in which others can see the errors they have committed reflected. They shall be no one's judge, but their virtues, works, and spiritual duties shall touch the spirit of all those who cross their path, and they shall point out their faults to all who violate my law. 7. Once this people is strong and numerous, it will attract the attention of its neighbors, for the purity of its works and the sincerity of its worship of God will amaze men. Then people will ask themselves, who are those who, without having a temple, know how to pray in such a way? Who has taught these multitudes to worship their God in prayer without feeling the need to build altars for their worship? Where did these itinerant preachers and missionaries come from who, like birds, neither sow nor reap nor spin and yet continue to exist? 8. Then I will say to them, this poor and humble people, but who live zealously according to my law and are strong in the passions of the world, have not been educated by any man. These multitudes, who take their joy in doing good, who are enlightened by inspiration and who bring the message of peace and a drop of healing balm to the hearts, have not been taught by teachers or clergy of any cult community on earth. For truly, I tell you, in this time there is not a single person on your world who is able to teach the worship of God in true spirituality. It is not in the splendor of rites or ceremonies, nor in wealth or earthly power, in which the truth has its roots, which, being humble, seeks the pure, noble, sincere, truth-loving hearts as its temple. Where are those hearts? 154, 12-14. 9. I have called many of my children to give them different assignments, different tasks within this work, and I have given them to you according to your progress and your talents. From all of them together I have formed my people, my new apostle body. 10. To some I have entrusted the office of leaders, and so that their task is not difficult and arduous, I have divided the people into churches. 11. To others I have entrusted the gift of a voice bearer, that they may transmit my inspiration, which has become a man's word, to these multitudes who come together to receive this miracle. 12. To some I have given the privilege of clairvoyance, to make them prophets, to announce through their mediation what is to come. 13. The task of pillars has been given to those who are to support the people on their pilgrimage and to be a help to the church leaders, helping to carry the burden of the cross with the crowds of listeners. 14. Others have been gifted with the gift of mediation, and these have been trained as instruments of the spiritual world, to convey its messages, the explanation of my work, and also as owners of the healing balm, the consolation for the sick, so that through their healing spiritual radiations they may jointly grant mercy to the needy. 15. Golden Feather I have called him who writes in the book which I will leave to you my revelations, teachings and prophecies of this time. 16. I have given the office of foundation stone to those who are to be examples of firmness, stability and strength among the people. Their word, advice and example among the people shall be unchanging, as the rock is. 17. But now, as this period of my rallies draws to an end, I address all offices, and to all those who are chosen to receive such great tasks, I make a call for them to investigate themselves thoroughly and see the result of their works. In this hour of reflection I stand by all. 335, 27-28. 18. As in all times, there were many called and few chosen, because I mention only those who are ready in time to fulfill their task, and to the rest I give a light so that they can expect the time when they are likewise chosen. 19. How many who have only been called, without it having already been time to choose them for a mission, have been placed among my disciples and workmen, without their spirit having had the development absolutely necessary to bear the burden of this cross, nor their minds the light necessary to receive my inspiration. What have many of them done after being in the ranks of the chosen ones? Desecrate, poison the atmosphere, infect the others with their bad inclinations, lie, sow discord, proliferate with my name and with the gifts of the Spirit that I have placed in my disciples. 20. Let no one try to discover which are these, for you cannot. Only my penetrating judge's gaze does not lose sight of them, and I let my word enter into their conscience, which tells them, watch and pray, so that you may repent of your transgressions in time, for if you do so, I promise you that I will spiritually sit you down quickly at my table and celebrate a feast of reconciliation and forgiveness. 306, 53-55. 21. This is the truth, not all love one another in my work, even if they belong to it, nor have all understood it. Therefore I can tell you that some belong to my work and others do theirs. 22. Those who follow me out of love love my word, because they know that it corrects them without hurting them, and shows them their faults without exposing them. This causes them to persevere in the perfection of their actions. 23. Those who, instead of striving for this perfection, seek only praise, superiority, flattery, or their livelihood, instead of striving for the perfection of the Spirit, do not bear my word when it shows them their faults. Then they must create a work that is different from mine, where they are free to do their will. They have not yet understood that the only thing the listeners have to do during the time of my rallies is that they listen to me with the greatest exaltation to be able to interpret my message afterwards. 140, 72-74. 24. I have said that the time of confusion, of disobedience, will come, in which the worker will rise up and assert that my rallies will not come to an end by the human mind. But the time will come when my word will be fulfilled, even if man wants to oppose my will. 25. How many errors on the way have many of those to whom I have entrusted a commission and a grace. How many misunderstandings I see that are spreading among my children after the year 1950. 26. Through incomprehension and folly man holds back my helping love and authority and grace, and stands aside from the true path of the law, harmony and truth. 27. Once more Israel will divide from tribe to tribe, and will again want to divide and trample underfoot the pure and pure law which I delivered into their hands. Once more Israel will seek the former ways and fall into idolatry and fanaticism. It will turn to the sects and fall into confusion, into darkness, and will take delight in the soothing and false words that man will offer it. 28. When the church and sect people see that Israel is divided, that Israel denies each other and is weak, they will look for reasons to seize the jewel of inestimable value, to take the ark of the new covenant and say tomorrow that they are the true messengers of God among mankind and the representatives of my divinity. 363, 47, 49, 51, 57. Reminder words directed to the listeners concerning the spiritual work. 29. I want you, when my rallies are finished, to have a clear idea of what this teaching is, so that you may follow it in the right way, for to this day the true spiritualists have not yet appeared among the multitudes who have heard my word. Until now, it has not been spiritualism that you have practiced, but only your conception of what is my work, which is far from true spirituality. 30. You must be strong to admit to yourselves that you have gone astray, you must pull yourselves together to improve your habits, and strive with zeal that the truth and purity of this teaching may shine forth among you. 31. Fear not to change the outward part of your forms of worship and worship, so long as you do not distort the essence of my teachings. 252, 28-30. 32. Use the time you have left to listen to my teaching, that it may fill you with light and grace, that you may take the firm step towards spirituality, a step you have not taken because you have continued in a cult full of materialism and error. 33. Until today you have lacked the faith to abolish your figures, rites and symbols and to seek me spiritually in the infinite. You have lacked the courage to be spiritualists, and you have invented a kind of illusory spirituality behind which you hide your materialistic attitude and your faults. 34. I will not have you hypocritical, but sincere and truthful. Therefore I speak to you with the greatest clarity so that you may thoroughly cleanse your lives and show the world the truth of this work. You call yourselves spiritualists. Then you really are. Do not speak of my teaching as long as you do the complete opposite, because you will then only confuse men with your works. 35. Have above all the knowledge of what my work is, of what my law means, of what your task is, and how you must carry it out, so that, if you have no guide worthy to direct your steps in your way, you may guide yourselves by conscience and by the knowledge you have gained in my teaching. Thus you will not be able to blame anyone for any misstep or error. 271, 27-30. 36. From the beginning of my rallies through the human mind, it was my will that you should put your spiritual gifts into practice and begin your spiritual mission, so that when the day of my departure came, you would already have covered part of the way and would not feel too weak to begin the completion of such a difficult mission. 37. Some have understood how to interpret the divine thought and have made an effort to realize it. But there are also those, and these are in the majority, who have misunderstood the meaning of this work. 38. These are the errors I am complaining about in this people here, because I do not want mankind to make fun of those who have been taught for so long. 267, 65-67. 39. While some were only interested in the meaning of my word and always demanded progress and development of their spirit, others took more pleasure in outward worship. Likewise, while the former rejoiced when they received teachings on spirituality, the others were disturbed when their faults were mentioned. 40. I alone know which ones will have to answer to me because of all that should have been known by my voice bearers and which was withheld. 270, 8-9. 41. Think, and you will realize that the concord you need is spiritual, and you will achieve it by rising above your passions and righteousness. 42. How can you make peace when each one proclaims his own as the only true and at the same time fights the others as false? 43. Fanaticism is darkness, is blindness, is ignorance, and its fruits can never be full of light. 289, 8-10. 44. Verily, I tell you, if you do not unite yourselves as I will, mankind will scatter you and will drive you out of their midst when they see that your life deviates from what you preach. 45. What will happen when people discover that in every church there is a different form of worship and a different way of doing my teaching? 46. I entrust to you the last 3 years of my rallies, that you may work for the unification of this people, a union that embraces both the spiritual and the outward, so that your work, filled with harmony and unanimity, may be the greatest proof of the fact that a single master taught you all, in the different places of assembly and in different parts of the country, God. 252, 69-71. True discipleship, new apostles. 47. Try not to limit this work, which is universal and infinite, nor to set limits to your spiritual development, for the more you delve into the way of good works and study, the greater revelations you will receive. You will see the divine work emerging from the most inconspicuous, you will see it manifested in all created things, you will feel it throbbing in your being. 48. This is the simplicity with which I teach the spiritualist disciple, so that he too may be simple like his master. The disciple is to convince and convert by the truth of his words and the power of his works, without wanting to impress anybody by mysterious powers or extraordinary abilities. 49. The true disciple will be great by his simplicity. He will understand his master and will at the same time make himself understood to his fellow men. 297, 15–17. 50. A disciple of Jesus is he who conquers by the word, who convinces and comforts, who lifts up and awakens, who makes of the conquered one a conqueror of himself and of adversity. 51. An apostle of Christ cannot carry selfishness in his heart by thinking only of his own sufferings or sorrows. He does not worry about his own and thinks of others, with the absolute confidence that he has neglected nothing, because the Father immediately assists him who has left his own to devote himself to a child of the Lord who needs spiritual assistance. And he who forgot himself to bring a smile of hope to a neighbor, a consolation for his sadness, a drop of balm for his pain, finds his home illuminated by a light that is blessing, joy and peace on his return. 293, 32–33. 52. At my table in this time both the man and the woman will be apostles. At this table I will set your spirit. 53. It was the women who held up the spiritualist banner in this time. They left on the way the mark of the apostle who zealously observes the law of the Lord. 54. In my new apostolic host, the woman will stand beside the man, and there will be no particular age to serve me. Both the adult and the child or the old man will do it, the young girl and the mother. For I tell you once more that it is your spirit whom I seek, and that he has long since left his childhood behind. 69, 16 and 17. 55. If I told you in the second time that my kingdom is not of this world, I tell you today that yours is not here either, because this world, as you already know, is only a transition for man. 56. I teach you true life, which has never been based on materialism. Therefore the mighty of the earth will rise again against my teaching. I come to you with my eternal teaching, with my forever valid teaching, which consists of love, wisdom and justice. Nevertheless, it will not be immediately understood. Mankind will condemn me again, will once again crucify me. But I know that my teaching must go through all this to be recognized and loved. I know that my fiercest persecutors will hereafter be my most faithful and renunciate sowers, because I will give them very great proofs of my truth. 57. That Nicodemus of the second age, a prince among the priests, who sought Jesus to speak to him about wise and profound doctrines, will appear again at this time to conscientiously study my work and convert to it. 58. That Saul, called Paul, who, after having persecuted me with fury, became one of my greatest apostles, will reappear on my way, and everywhere my new disciples will appear, some fervently, others denying themselves. The present hour is of great significance, the time of which I speak to you is drawing ever closer. 173, 45–48. 59. Men need those who are able to stand firm in the trials, those who are familiar with the great struggles of the world and the spirit. They are the ones who can point the way and lead mankind, for in their hearts will not be the desire to oppress or dominate anyone. They cannot give shelter to selfishness, because in their moments of exaltation they have felt the mercy of the Lord, who lavishes them with love, so that they may pass on this mercy to their brothers. 54, 53. The messengers of God all over the world and at all times. 60. the peoples of the earth have never lacked the light of the spiritual. Verily, I tell you, not only this people here had prophets and messengers, but to all of them I have sent messengers to awaken them. 61. Because of the light and truth of their teachings, and the similarity with what I have revealed to you, you can judge their words. 62. Some lived before the coming of the Messiah, others worked after my being as a man, but all have brought a spiritual message to men. 63. Those teachings, like mine, have experienced distortions, for if their meaning has not been changed, they have been mutilated, or they have been hidden from those who hunger for truth. 64. There is one truth and one morality, which was revealed to men by messengers, prophets, and servants. Why then do the nations have different conceptions of truth, morality, and life? 65. This truth, which has been falsified by mankind at all times, will be restored, and its light will shine with such power that it will appear to men as if it were something new, though it is the same light that has always illuminated the path of development of the children of my divinity. 66. Many are those who died because they spoke the truth, many also of those who were subjected to torture because they would not silence the voice that spoke in them. 67. Do not think that heaven has sent only those who have spoken to you of the Spirit, of love, of morality. No, it has also sent those who have given you good fruits of science, those knowledge which brings light into the lives of men, which eases their burdens and relieves their hardships. They have all been my messengers. 68. There are also others who, though they bring no teachings of spiritual morals or scientific discoveries, bring the message which teaches to feel and admire the beauties of creation. They are ambassadors of me who have the task of bringing joy and balm to the hearts of the afflicted. 69. They have all drunk a bitter cup when they became aware of the incomprehension of a world blind to the truth, a humanity without feeling for the beautiful and the good. And yet, when I have told you that in this epoch everything will be restored, when I have announced to you that everything will return to the right path, and all my teachings will be restored to their original meaning, you may believe that a time of spiritual splendor is near for this world, although you must not forget that before this happens, everything will be judged and purified. 121, 9-16. 70. Whenever a revelation of God is about to enlighten men, I have sent them pioneers or prophets to prepare them so that that light may be recognized by them. But do not believe that only those are my messengers who bring messages for the Spirit. No, disciple, everyone who sows good among men in any of its forms is a messenger of me. 71. These messengers you can meet in all the ways of your life, both in the religious communities and in the sciences, among the people who rule or among those who give good teachings. 72. A good servant of mine never strays from the path he has to take. He would rather die on the way than stray. His example is a seed of light in the life of his neighbor, and his works are examples to others. Alas, if mankind could yet understand the messages which I send it through them. But it is not so, because there are many people who have delicate missions in the world, but who turn their gaze away from those great examples to follow a path that is more pleasing to them. 105, 13-15. 73. But what have you done to those men, mankind, whom I have sent to you so that they remind you of my way, the way of faith, which is that of wisdom, love and peace? 74. You did not want to know anything about their tasks and fought them with the hypocritical faith you have on the basis of your theories and denominations. 75. Your eyes would not see the light which every one of my messengers brought you as a message of love, whether you call them prophets, seers, enlightened ones, physicians, philosophers, scientists, or pastors. 76. Those people had charisma, but you would not recognize their light. They preceded you, but you would not follow their steps. 77. They left you the example of a way of life full of sacrifice, pain and charity, but you were afraid to follow them because you did not realize that the pain of those who follow me is joy for the Spirit, a way full of flowers and a horizon full of promises. 78. They did not come to inhale the fragrance of the flowers on earth, nor to inebriate themselves in the fleeting pleasures of the world, because the desire of their spirit was no longer for the impure, but for the high. 79. They suffered, but they did not seek to be comforted, because they knew that they had come to comfort themselves. They expected nothing from the world, because after the life struggle they expected the joy of witnessing the resurrection of the spirit beings to faith and life, of all those who had abjured from truth. 80. Who are those people of whom I speak to you? I tell you, they are all those who have brought you messages of light, love, hope, health, faith, salvation. The name they had is not important, nor the way of life you saw them appear on, nor the title they had on earth. 263, 1824. 81. I must tell you once more that this people, which is being formed around my rallies, is not a people that the Father in His love sets above the other peoples of the earth. The Lord has turned His gaze upon them only because He has formed them from spirit beings who have always been in the world when a new divine revelation has come down. They are spiritual children of that people Israel, the people of prophets, messengers, seers and patriarchs. 82. Who better than they could receive me in this time, understand the new form of my revelation, and testify to the fulfillment of my promises. 159, 51-52. 83. I have come down into the bosom of the people of Israel, the majority of whom are at home in this nation. The rest are scattered in all nations, sent by me, and to them I have made myself known spiritually. These are my chosen ones who have remained faithful to me. Their heart is not infected and their spirit can receive my inspirations. Through their mediation I am currently giving the world a great treasure of wisdom. 2692U. I am referring to Mexico. 84. Beloved children, you who have come in small numbers, verily I say to you, my piercing gaze discovers everywhere my chosen ones who feel in their spirit that now is the time of my presence. They have not heard my word as you have, but in their spirit they hear a voice telling them that I am again among mankind, that I have come on the clouds spiritually. To some I will grant to look at myself with the eyes of the Spirit, to others by means of presentiment, to the rest I make my love strongly perceptible, so that they may feel the presence of my Spirit. 346, 13. 85. Soon the intuitive, the inspired, the spiritually sensitive will rise and witness in the nations what they see with the Spirit, what they feel, what they hear and receive. I tell you again that my people are not limited to those who have heard me through these voice bearers, but that I have sent my servants to various points of the earth to prepare the paths and clear the fields to which the sowers must later come. 86. I strengthen them and bless them, because their daily work is sorrowful, their path peppered with thorns. Mockery, derision, slander and baseness follow them everywhere. But they, foreboding and inspired, know that they have been sent by me, and are willing to go to the end of the way in fulfillment of their mission. 284,50, 51. 87. I invite you to enter my kingdom. I call all the peoples of the earth without any preference, but I know that not all will listen to me. 88. Mankind has put out its lamp and walks in darkness, but there where error becomes apparent, an enlightened one of me will appear, who spreads light in his surroundings, a spiritual watchman, who watches and waits for my sign to sound the alarm call, which awakens and shakes. 89. Let the love of those messengers be fruitful seed in your hearts. Do not reject them when they show themselves before you in outward poverty. Listen to them, for they come in my name to impart to you a skill that you do not know at present. They will teach you perfect prayer, will free you from the bonds of materialism with which you are bound, will help you to attain the spiritual freedom that lifts you up to me. 281,33. 90. If any man shall come forward and claim that he is the Christ made man again, believe him not. For when I announced to you that I would come again, I let you know that it would be in the Spirit. If anyone should tell you, I am the messenger of God, mistrust him, because the true messengers do not boast and do not trumpet the mission entrusted to them. They prove themselves only by their works. It is for men to say whether he is a messenger of the Lord. Do you remember that I told you that the tree would be recognized by its fruits? 91. I do not forbid you to taste the fruits of the trees, but you must be prepared to distinguish the good fruit from the bad. 92. Those who love the truth, I will set up as candlesticks so that they may illuminate the path of their fellow men. 131, 5-7. 93. The times when you needed a spiritual leader in the world are over. From now on everyone who follows this path will have no other way than that of my law, nor any other guide than that of his own conscience. 94. Nevertheless, there will always be men and women of great light and great spiritual power, who by their example and inspiration will assist the multitudes. 95. If it were otherwise, I would already have sent to you spirits like Moses or like Elijah to the earth, so that they would show you the way and remind you of the law all the time they also stand by you, protect and accompany you, but no longer in human form, but from the spiritual. 96. Who sees them? No one. But when you equip yourselves, you will feel above you the presence of great spirits who have always been in touch with humanity and had great missions to fulfill in it. 255,40-41.